Too much reality TV, that real life becomes a sitcom. So Wednesday was the second GOP primary debate. It was also on CNN, and we learned that it's not gay if it's Reagan's dick that's being sucked. I mean, there was a big airplane there, probably compensating for something, I don't know. I have pretty much a few words to describe the entire GOP field, and they're all horrible. I hate a lot of people, but these people, they're all horrible. I don't know how else to say it. The debate was hosted the same day as Mexican Independence Day, which I feel was, appropriate, insulting. I don't know. There's, a lot of that, anti-immigrant stuff that came on was kind of, fucked up. So it was either, for most Mexicans I know, it was just a bonus because, it's entertainment. Most Mexicans, they don't really get offended by anything. We're morbid people. We're happy to just, not live. If we don't get shot in the streets, that's a good day for us. I don't know what to say about people like Donald Trump. If he's president, I'm going to move from a place where, American rule cannot reach, like Spain or San Francisco. Jeb Bush, I don't know why he thinks he can be president. I don't know why he thinks it's a good idea for him to be president. I mean, he has his father and his brother already president. What are historians 100 years going to think? Oh my, look at that. What's been an exquisite political family to have, such wide support. Get, 3 presidencies. I mean, the first Bush, was a one-termer, and the second Bush literally became a laughing stock. My teacher used, talking like George Bush today in 2015 as an apology for his being sick. Sorry I'm talking like George Bush. Yeah, I'm just too sick today. And that was something that he actually said. Scott Walker is a horrible person, and I hate him. I call him the Madison Marionette in my head because he doesn't have any facial expressions. I think he hopes that he's going to be a real boy one day, but I doubt it. But despite being made of wood, he was all sweating really hard like a baked potato in the oven. I could feel 1960s era Richard Nixon just screaming, Give me back my yellow sweat, you Wisconsin commie. Chris Christie is fat. I mean, I have nothing against fat people. I'm fat myself. But you can't be fat and from New Jersey and a complete asshole. You're just asking us to make fun of you. It's not good. No. I can't believe Marco Rubio is sane by association. He's like super fucking an establishment at this point. It's weird and scary. Ted Cruz, look, he's a fellow Texan. He and I, we both go to the same stores. We both shop at H&B. We both eat at Whataburger. We were both probably freaked out when we first learned in social studies that Texas used to be its own state. So I don't want to be too hard on the guy. So I'm probably just going to, put this as gently as possible. Ted Cruz is a dangerous sociopath who will ultimately bring down America. I mean, and he's a pansy too. You saw him at the Kim Davis rally, which was fucking ridiculous in the first place. And the fucking Mike Huckabee guy just blocked him off, and he just sulked there like a puppy who got his leg bit by his older brother. Do we want that guy should not be responsible for debating anything. Even the position of power that he already is crazy. I'm just waiting for him and Elizabeth Warren to have hate sex with each other. That's all I'm saying. Speaking of which, Huckabee, which my autocorrect on my Windows Word translated to Bucksdeer. I'm Bucksdeer Huckabee, and I'll tell you what. I'm a crazy redneck. I will say out loud inaccurate comments about Nidal Malik Hassan, because making a prisoner grow a beard that he wasn't allowed to keep is totally the same thing as, not forcing a Christian county clerk to do her job. In Kentucky, I assume everyone is stupid. Speaking of Rand Paul is a sellout. I like him when he talks about ending the war on drugs and stopping the military shit. Obviously, I mean, come on, it's just it's no brainers for me, honestly. But he just keeps selling out, and he's not doing very good, which kind of sucks. Cause like I said, I like him and I want to like him, but he just keeps. You sold out, Paul, and you broke my heart. Ben Carson huffs anesthetic. I don't know why he's even there. He's supposed to be this brilliant neurosurgeon, but he seems to just, he speaks entirely in platitudes and just weird stuff. It's obvious he doesn't know anything about anything in the real world, which doesn't speak against him as a doctor, just against as a human being, which I feel that's okay, plenty appropriate. Charlie Fiorina Fiorina got on this stage because of affirmative action. I think it's obvious that she wishes she wasn't a woman. They were talking about the $10 bill thing. I'll get to that later. She was like, apparently like really inept. Apparently HP, they said recently they were going to lay off like a fuck ton of people, much like Fiorina did earlier. I actually read that Fiorina was, sort of like stuck with this, HP when it was a rotting shell as a company, kind of like what General Motors did with Mary Barrett. Hey everybody, look at our good new diversity hire. Hey, we at HP are a progressive company and we are in the crap hole. John Kasich, I want to like him, but I was up and everything he said about Planned Parenthood. I love it when he just fucking attacked Cruz. Cruz was saying a bunch of shit like, we need to stop the Iran deal. And then Kasich was all like, the fuck are you talking about? You're gonna isolate America from the rest of the world. You are a moron and I hate you. And it was great when they were pitted against each other. It was amazing. I don't know why Trump had to say that he wants to have sex with Jeb Bush's wife. I don't want that image in my head. You don't deserve that image in your head. No one needs that image in their head. Moving on. Jeb Bush said that during the administration, Bush kept us safe. I didn't really feel safe during the Bush presidency. To be fair, I don't really feel safe now. I'm paranoid like all the time. I'm worried that, danger is going to hit me like 24/7. That's not really the government's fault. Popping that hook, everybody live on the room, everybody loving them, popping that hook, popping that hook. What I found interesting about the Republican debate was that, they all pretty much suck, but in like different ways. So, everyone just insults each other in like different ways to correspond. Donald Trump was attacking Jeb Bush for being the establishment out of touch. Jeb attacks Donald for being a crazy person. Donald attacks Marco for being apparently the worst voting record in the Senate. Apparently he missed like a third of his votes this year, which I don't even fucking know why. I hate politicians sometimes. But it was like a beautiful effort of homeostasis in its natural habitat. Later in the event that marked our eventual creep toward idiocracy, they asked the candidates which woman they would like to see put on the $10 bill, which will happen in about 2020. And apparently these people can't name any other suffragettes besides Susan B. Anthony. Ben Carson said he would put his mother, Mike Huckabee, his wife, Donald Trump, his daughter, and I get that, it's a little bit of a, flattering little, hey, how do you do to that? But, it's like, it's ridiculous. You can't think of him. Cruz, Rubio, and I think even Trump actually said they should put, like, Rosa Parks on the $10 bill. Cruz actually said that they should, change it to the 20 and keep Hamilton on the 10, which is weird because it's one of the few times that, the words that came out of that weird hot dog slit that Cruz calls a mouth came up with a coherent thought that actually, made sense. And it's good, if I can, keep Hamilton on the bill. He was there, man. Jackson wasn't there. Jackson never existed. Why are we worshipping the dead, man? Jeb Bush said we should put Margaret Thatcher on the $10 bill. I mean, I'd love to see that get approved. John Kasich said we should put Mother Teresa, which, again, neither of those people are American. I was kind of surprised I didn't hear one candidate said Sandra Day O'Connor. I mean, she was our first female Supreme Court justice, and she was a Reagan appointee. Pretty conservative term. I think you can make a good argument. I think for her being on the bill, I certainly think she could be up there with like Eleanor Roosevelt or something. But no one said it because I guess they were just thinking, oh, who's a famous woman? Quick, oh shit, who's a famous woman? What are we gonna do? That was like the inside of their heads for I don't know. And then Fiorina and her refusal to admit that she actually is biologically and sociologically female said that they should just leave the 10 as it is. Whatever, man. I don't care about her anymore. Donald Trump says Mexico doesn't have birthright citizenship. That's not true. Mexico does have birthright citizenship, like 51 other countries do. Early Fiorina said that marijuana, if you smoke marijuana, you'll want to kill your family. That basically, and whatever. I don't know what she was smoking back in the day. The marijuana that kids are smoking today is not the same as the marijuana that Jeb Bush smoked 40 years ago. Bush also, imprisoned a bunch of people for smoking pot. He got away with it because he's rich. Stuff like that is why I wish Rand Paul would talk more and actually say, stuff that makes sense instead of the, Elsewhere in another debate, they got, aside from the 11 people that were talking, they got, like 4 others that, just were I don't know, man. They got, Bobby Jindal, Rick Santorum, George Pataki, and Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham I actually like a lot, if I'm being honest. If only because of his, personality. He seems like an affable guy and, like a moderate, willing to, like, reach out to... I mean, he's completely batshit insane on foreign policy. I mean, my God, the man is scared of his own shadow, for Christ's sakes. But, he was funny during that debate, at least I thought so. Better than, like, the grave and maraudness of that other time when he did the what. Rich Pataki is tall, and he was right about Kim Davis. That's all I know about him. I don't live in New York. I don't care. And Tora made a comment about, that mythos that girl at Columbine was apparently shot for being a Christian, and, the other 10 kids that were shot, I guess, were just, meant to block the way of it. The myth that he dispelled was, complete bullshit. And, bullshit, that isn't the Rick Santorum name. It is his namesake. Irish Bobby Jindal was probably stopped by security guards. They asked him for a green card at some point. I mean, it is, California after all. That's what I think happened. Yeah, he's such a dick, too. I mean, like, they asked him about that kid that was arrested because he brought a clock to school. And then, he just turned it around and said, I'll say discrimination against Christians is a bigger deal than discrimination against Muslims. I mean, I don't know how, discriminatory a society can be when you make it like 71% of the population and practically all government. So, whatever. That guy's full of shit. He's not going to be governor for long anymore. And I say, he's sold out. He lost. People hate him. I don't like him. I don't know. I can't speak for all people. But there is at least one other person out there that doesn't like him, and for that guy, I speak for you. I speak for you. We are batshit lunacy. We combined. Later in the debate, and I actually can't believe this fucking happened. For some reason, they started talking about vaccines. And I mean, what the fuck? You think that Ben Carson, who was, a doctor for children, of all things, would be able to separate his ass from his elbow here? But I mean, like he actually said, this is according to PolitiFact.com, pediatricians have cut down on the number and proximity of vaccines because I recognize there have been too many and too short a period of time. What the Jesus fucking Christ. PolitiFact rated that statement, "Ants on fire." So, it's fucking wrong. Lots of people, Donald Trump. I remember a few whiles ago when Rand Paul and Chris Christie, they were talking about, well, I think, if people want to opt out of vaccinations, they should be allowed to. And this just really fucking pisses me off because the vaccine thing, it has no basis in fact. But you can see otherwise reasonable people talk about it that, vaccines cause autism, even though, it's complete horseshit. There's this one scientist, his name was Andrew Wakefield. He published a bunch of bullshit studies to try and peddle his own vaccine. The entire scientific community disowned him. Jenny McCarthy said he talked about it enough times, and I guess the echo chamber said, you can't get the Jim Carrey vote on this thing, guys. He's not an American citizen. He's from Canada. Why I feel like that's, the fucking worst thing ever. None of them will unapologetically just, be unequivocally just say, vaccines, they save people. Vaccinate your fucking kids, you stupid California hippies. I mean, they're in Los Angeles. Maybe they're playing to the crowd. I fucking doubt it. These are the people that'll applaud for bombing just, any country that looks at us funny. I think like when Rand Paul was talking about, just use restraints in our foreign policy, and like practically nobody clapped at that, and it was just, it was sad, man. I don't know what else to say. It was sad. At one point, they asked the candidates what their Secret Service code names would be if they were president, which to me makes absolutely no fucking sense. But Ted Cruz is a giant asshole. I just want to make sure that is, known and vocalized. He's a horrible person. He's probably not even human. Someone put him at a wooden stake through his heart. Better safe than sorry, I think. I mean, that's his policy towards Muslims. Why can't it be my policy towards vampires? At least, vampires, they're real. Vampires exist. I've never met a Muslim before. Except that 5 times. I don't know why Chris Christie thinks that he's going to be elected by, trying to crack down on marijuana legalization. That doesn't make sense. I also don't know why he says he was appointed U.S. attorney the day before 9/11. Because, he wasn't actually I mean, he may have been appointed, but he didn't actually have the job until December that year. And, I was U.S. Attorney from New Jersey on September 10th, 2001. And the next day, everything went to hell. I wouldn't put that on my resume if I were you. I think the debate might go more smoothly if they fit everyone with shock collars. They'll just completely toast the fuck out of these people if they go above their allotted time limit. As fun as it was to watch all these people insult each other, there has to be a little bit more respect, I think, than that. Just on a human level. Except for Cruz, like I said, he can go to hell. And he has that, stupid fucking grin. It's like, I'm Ted Cruz. I think Iranian sucking Barack Obama is a deliverance. I think it's ridiculous when Donald Trump keeps talking about anchor babies, because when that baby is born here, you're gonna have to. If that baby is born here, then you're gonna have to take care of it until it's 85. As if that child is just a tumor, it's not gonna fucking have a job or go to school or to be a street performer or something. No, it's just a living welfare check recipient. That is all that immigrant families are. Why do we hate other people? I mean, the Mexicans have already been through this. They deported a bunch of us back in the 30s. Can't we just live in peace, man? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Oh, you're principled because you stood up for 21 hours and talked about fucking green eggs and ham. Big deal. Now you know what it's like to be a waitress. Jesus fucking Christ. Cruz described a political cartoon at one point when he was talking about the Iran deal. I was really half expecting the stage to end in a fist fight or something. Just have Trump, fucking turn to his left and just knock out Jeb Bush, and then they fight each other, and then it's just an old man fight, and it's beautiful, and I just want that to happen once. Damn it! I'll take it at the Democratic debates. Come on, Jeb Webb can totally take Lincoln Chafee. You've seen Lincoln Chafee. He kind of looks like Chevy Chase if his face was turned upside down. Well, that's really all the relevant information I have. I'm gonna go cry in a ditch. See ya.